It was night, and Juan Carlos was returning home after spending the day with some friends. Suddenly, the young man felt a shadow pass by his side. It was in the form of a woman in a black dress. His legs began to shake, he could barely stand. In fear, he ran towards his house. On the way, he met some neighbors. When they saw him, they asked him worriedly what had happened to him. Juan Carlos answered them by shouting that a woman in black was following him. The boys burst out laughing and told him he was a coward. There was no one there. Right at that moment, they raised their heads and felt a pang in their hearts. That creature, the Black Widow, stood before them. All at the same time ran terrified. Years passed and Juan Carlos had almost forgotten that episode of his life. He was young and he and his neighbors had probably been the victims of some prankster. His life had changed a lot since then. He had gotten married and had a 4-year-old girl. After work, he went into a bar for a drink. When he walked home, a lady, totally dressed in black and covering her face with a thin veil, approached him. The lady kindly asked him for the time, and when Juan Carlos lowered his gaze to look at the watch, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. The lady had no feet and was floating. A shiver ran through his body as he remembered what he had experienced when he was 15 years old. It was her, again. He was before the Black Widow. He started running with all his might, but it seemed that the more speed he took, the less he advanced, and from his shoulder, he could see how the lady was getting closer and closer. After crossing a few streets, he turned into an alley and lost sight of her. Then he stopped to take a breath. He could feel the beating of his heart in his mouth. He wanted to come out of hiding, so he stealthily approached the alley entrance to get out. But it was already late. The Black Widow took him to an unknown destination. There are various versions of the legend of the Black Widow, very famous in countries like Argentina, Chile, or Colombia. Some versions tell us that it is the soul in pain of a woman deceived by her husband, who wanders through the mountains, killing all the men who appear before her to satisfy her desire for revenge. Others say that it is the soul in pain of a woman martyred by a jealous lover, and that she attacks all the unsuspecting men she finds. And even a third version maintains that she is a widow, that after the death of her husband, she also died of sorrow, but that she is still obsessed with the idea of meeting him again. She approaches each man that crosses her, and seeing that they aren't her husband, she kills them, seized with fury. In some regions, such as the province of Salta, they define her as a tall, beautiful woman with a seductive figure and close to 40 years of age. However, in others, such as the Valles de Lerma and Calchaquí, she's presented as an old woman, although they all agree that she's dressed in black and that her head is covered by a veil. The fear caused by the Black Widow makes the peasants afraid to cross the streets or the mountains after midnight, which is the time when she usually makes her appearance. Did you know this legend, TikTokers? What version is there in your country? We read you in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.